Hello friends, welcome to this video. So in this video we will discuss what will be the complete roadmap for cracking any data analyst interview. So before going on the profile and I would like to give you a brief detail about myself. So I have somewhere around 5+ years of experience in analytics, particularly in consulting, right? And I have been working from 2019 and now it is 2024. In terms of industry, I have worked with FMCG, healthcare, and cosmetic clients. You can also see I have worked with clients such as Coca-Cola, which is a big beverage giant. Then you have Patient Point, it is a healthcare company, digital marketing company in healthcare sector. Then you have Stryker, which is a medical device manufacturer. And then you have a cosmetic company we called Anastasia Beverly Hills. So yeah, now coming to the tools, I have worked on Excel, SQL, Power BI, and Python. Now I would also talk about why I picked this particular role and what kind of audience who can try for this particular role, right? So data analyst in recent days, or I would say in the recent years, it's has become a very prominent role, right? Because there is a lot of data that is generated, and due to advancement of technology, we have now have capability to kind of capture lots of data, because before that we don't have that capacity, or also it was very expensive. But now, due to technology advancement, now we can capture lot of data, and once you have data, then you need to see what we can do with that data, how we can use or utilize those data sets to kind of uh, advancement in terms of our business processes and those things, how we can make good profits, how we can plan our future, those things. And that is why there are largely two three fields. We have data analyst, you have data engineer, you have data scientist. So just to give you a brief detail about these profiles, data analyst will mostly work with data in terms of analyzing data, right? And maybe using some visualization tool to kind of make some visualization, right? To clearly communicate the data points in a much more visual appealing manner to the business leaders and the higher management people, right? Data engineer will mostly work with how to kind of get the raw data from some data source, right? And then how we can do the ETL process, and then how we can build a pipeline and all, right? And then once that is that, then you will connect that data sets to any visualization tool or any modeling data set, maybe for the machine learning, those things. Then comes data science. Data science is very kind of prominent in this recent years, because people are expending spending a lot on future forecasting and those things, LLM, natural language processing, recommendations engine, those things. Yeah, so these things are kind of very prominent and very uh, important skill set in recent years. But why I picked data analyst is because this is something which a normal, I think, BTech graduate can opt for this one. And also someone who is kind of preparing for some government examinations, right? You might have taken 2 3 years drop, right? And now maybe you are looking for some other career options also parallelly, right? So I think this one is kind of suitable for you, because here you can devote relatively less time and you can land a job here. So that is why I picked a data analyst role. Now I will discuss about how the interview process look like and what are the skill set that you will need for this particular role, right? Yes. So the interview process is basically, again, like if you talk about the eligibility, so if you are BTech or MTech, so you will be eligible for most of the roles. Obviously, there is a segregation in terms of tier 1 college, tier 2 college, but yes, matlab, if you are from tier 1, tier 2, your CV will be shortlisted. So that is something which I can assure. If you have a decent amount of experience and you have a decent, good projects in your resume, then you have MBA also. Recently, what happened? Lots of company are expecting MBA also, but again, that is exceptional. Like generally, it is BTech and MTech. Then, what are the job portal that you can use to find a job and then applying for a job is LinkedIn, Naukri, IM Jobs. These three you can majorly use. Obviously, the step one would be we will applying uh, any job portal, and you will be sharing your CV. Then the HR will do the CV shortlisting part. And just to mind you, recently manually shortlisting CV is very rare, so they are using something called ATS. So you have to, your resume should be ATS friendly to get shortlisted, because that is very important. If your CV is not getting shortlisted, then how will you prepare for interview and how you can appear in interviews? So that is very important. So there will be largely 3-4 rounds, right? And depending on the company and the size and the type, right? You can have multiple rounds also, but largely there will be somewhere around 3 to 4 rounds. There will be two technical rounds, one managerial round, and the last one would be HR round, or maybe you will have some salary discussion, right? Now, talking about the interview process details, right? So, uh, largely in your first interview, it will revolves around your resume, your projects, and there will be some technical questions, or maybe they can ask some case estimate and case study. But again, the round one would be kind of easy to moderate, because that is, you can think it's a kind of elimination round. So they want to make sure whether you are actually worth it or not for the further rounds, right? So it would be a kind of, I would say, screening round. Whatever you have written in your CV, whether you actually know those stuff or not, or it's just that you have written something or copied from somewhere. So that is a kind of screening round. So here largely they will ask you the project that you mentioned in your resume, and they will try to assess you basis whatever you have written, you have actually worked it or not, or whether you have a depth knowledge or not, or it was just like you were part of any team and then your team delivered this project. So these are the kind of pointers that they try to assess when you mention any projects. Then you have guess estimates, and then you have case studies. Then you have tool specific questions, maybe SQL, Python, Power BI, Tableau, based on whatever the requirements that a particular organization has. Then there will be some questions related to statistics, and then some puzzles will be given to you. So largely these are the some key topics, I would say, or key areas where the actual interview will revolves around, right? And again, you can distribute these topics between the interview, but largely the first one would be your resume plus some technical. Second one would be your case estimate, case study, and then some advanced technical. Third one would be your managerial. Fourth one would be your HR interview. Okay, I will explain these in under these buckets what you need to exactly study in this buckets. Yeah, so starting with project related questions. So again, like I said here, they will ask you the questions regarding the projects that you have mentioned in your resume, right? So I'm assuming, let's say if you haven't done any project, then you pick anything, like you pick anything on YouTube. There are a lot of videos available there. You can work on any live project, right? And then you can write it on your CV. Now the idea here is, whatever you are writing in your CV, you should be very thorough with it. Nobody is going to check whether you have done it or not. It's just that you should be very thorough with it. And how will you be thorough with it? It's because lot of practice and lot of learning. uh, Here it is very important and like to kind of focus whenever you are answering these questions. So the interviewer is not very much interested in your project, rather they want to assess some key skills in you. First one is, what was your contribution in that project? How do you kind of contributed in that project? Then second would be, so he is completely unaware of what you have done, how you have done. So you have to explain him. It should not be very lengthy. It should be very small and very crisp. But assume like you are explaining something to a layman, right? And whenever you are mentioning any approach or something, be clear that they will ask you why did you choose this particular method or approach, and what are the other alternatives that you have in the market, right? While answering these questions itself, right, you need to show how you worked as their maybe problem solver, and then maybe some quick learning stuff, right? Like you, let's say a project demanded to learn a new technique, maybe R or maybe some other language or something, and you quickly learned that and then just did the job. So try to kind of putting these skill set in your answers: problem solving, team collaboration, and quick learner, these things. Now coming to guess estimates, I have just written down some sample questions, right? Let's say estimate the number of villages in India, number of laptops in the market, number of Instagram posts in a day, number of Uber riders in a day, number of pizzas sold at Domino's store in a day, right? So there is no definite question or no definite syllabus here. They can ask you anything. They can ask you the city where you live. They can ask you whether the company that you worked on, or they can ask you uh, their organizations, the business that they operate on, right? So guess estimate is something where you need to give them some numbers at the end. Now talking about case studies, here they will give you some hypothetical situations, and then you need to kind of evaluate or kind of investigate what could be the probable reason behind it. For example, identify the possible reason of decline in sales of Zomato. So they will say, let's say, for example, let's say Gurgaon. So they will say, okay, in Gurgaon, maybe sector 52, there is a particular prime location where we are seeing, where we are observing a decline in sales. How do you go about this? How will you find the regions, and how do you build some recommendation over there? Similarly, decline in user to e-commerce website, right? And then you have decline in Uber riders, decline in user to a gaming app. So these are some common example that they generally ask in interviews, right? So yeah, so it's very important, particularly in a case studies, you have a very I would say holistic approach. So never just, let's say if they ask you decline in sales, okay, people stop buying, or people buying some competition. No, there is some definite framework, and you need to touch upon every framework or every aspect of the, you never know what is the actual reason, right? So, and that is what the interview is about. You need to discuss with the interviewer, you need to throw your thoughts, okay, this could be the reason, this could be the reason, this could be the reason, and then out of that he will give you a hint, and he will give you, okay, I want to go about this, right? Okay. Okay, now coming to the technical tools, you have SQL, you have Python, you have Power BI. SQL, you need to practice a SQL a lot, particularly the common interview questions. You can get it from LinkedIn post. There are a lot of people who post what was asked in their interview, so you practice those questions on a regular basis. Important topic, I would say window function, row number, rank, dense rank, lead lag, then difference between union all, and then how correlated query works, what is subquery, for example, and what are their example, then difference between group by and having, and then what is the SQL execution order, these things. When it comes to Python, they can ask you about data types such as list, tuples, dictionary. This is very commonly asked. Log, difference between log and ilog, and then they can ask you about pandas library, how do you do missing value treatment, and then how do you do group by through pandas, then how do you do join, append, merge through pandas, these things. Now coming to Power BI, so there are some standard questions that they generally ask no matter what is the interview. They can, so I've just listed on a few of them here. So for example, difference between calculated columns and measures, optimization of dashboard, how do you optimize any dashboard, or let's say if you have done in the past, what are the steps that you have taken, then what are the best practices before building any dashboard, or while building any dashboard, what are the best practices that we should follow. Then what is RLS? RLS is row level security, that is something which you need to know, and they commonly ask in the interview. And then what are the different data connection ways that is available, that is import, direct query, then live collection, those things. They can ask you, they can also ask you what are the limitations of Power BI, like what are the instances or cases where we should not be using Power BI, so you are clear about these things also. Okay. Now coming to statistics, so they will ask you them some central tendency like mean, median, mode. They can ask you normal distribution. They can ask you uh, central limit theorem. What is difference between variance and standard deviation? What is hypothesis testing? They can ask you regression. What is regression? What are the different types of regression? Linear regression, logistic regression, those things. What is quartile? What is interquartile range? Those things. Now this particular round is very important. When I talk about managerial round, this is very important because this is something which will close your interview, either yes or no. HR is, I would say, it is very, it's kind of nominal for the sake of taking that in HR round, but it's, I mean, unless and until you do some blunder in HR, they will not kind of reject you. So once you clarify managerial round, it's almost done. So this round is very important because here they will try to assess whether you are a good fit for this organization or not. So far they are sure you are good on terms of technically, but now they want to see whether you are fit in this company given the organization structure, given the work environment, given the team behavior and all those things, and whether you will be able to contribute here or not, what kind of personality you are, those things. And commonly they ask, why do you want to this company, why not other company, and what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses. Let's say if you're switching any job, then why do you want to switch. So if you have ever committed any mistakes in your last role, how do you kind of go about that. And then some scenario based questions, for example, let's say your team is not available and then you have to have a critical delivery there, how will you manage that, those things. Puzzles is it's a very standard puzzles that they ask, and they generally pick from the gigs for gigs, because I've also taken a couple of interviews, so I know uh, they generally takes it from gigs for gigs. Sorry. And they ask you, so just open a gigs for gigs page, go to the puzzle section and just read 2-3 puzzles daily, and there are around somewhere around 100 puzzles. But only choose which are short one, don't go for very long, because in interview you will only get 5 to 7 minutes. 5 minutes, I think that's to solve any puzzle, so don't go for very long puzzles. Now coming to learning sources, I have listed down the YouTube channel name. So for case study and guess estimates, you can refer to case interview crack channel, this is very helpful. I'm telling you, they have a playlist of let's say 3 4 videos. You can go through it. They have explained how to go about case estimates, how to go about case study in a much more detailed manner. They have practically solved one case study and case estimate. So this video is very helpful. You can go through it. Then again, the second channel is the consulting and strategy club. I am Lucknow. Again, this one is also very helpful. They have a series of multiple case studies, multiple case estimates. So through this, you can know how to kind of tackle those very surprising questions, and what is the framework that you should follow. Then SQL, you can use uh, tech topic uh, video tutorials on YouTube. Then Python also, there is Telescope. You can refer to these channel. For Power BI, uh, although there are a lot of video available on YouTube, so you can explore that. Again, like I'm not saying only you have to go this. If you see, the point of the matter is, if you are able to understand something in a much more better way through some video, you should go about that. You should go about this. Should follow that. So here I have listed on what is kind of suited me, so that might not suit you. So based on your understanding, your capacity and your thinking skill, right, so you can choose your video. That is, see, the point is the conceptual clarity should be there. Once you complete any tutorial, you should be conceptually clear, your fundamentals should be clear. That is the ask here. So I have referred to this Microsoft Power BI desktop for business intelligence. This is a Udemy course, I think somewhere around 300 500 rupees, I think. But again, like I said, there are lots of free video available on the YouTube. You can refer to that also. Then puzzles, again I said geeks for geeks. And then managerial round, there is a channel called KSR Data Vision. You can follow this. They have listed around 50 questions of managerial round and how to answer those questions. So you can go through that video once before your managerial round. I think that would be it. Now some important tips, like this is very important because the process itself, like I have also kind of taken 2 3 switches, and I can tell you this process is very rigorous and very depressing, very frustrating. So few things that we need to always keep in our mind. First one is have ATS friendly resume. So otherwise you won't be shortlisted in any company. So we will be applying, let's say 50 company or maybe much more 100 company, but your resume will not be selected because nowadays they are extensively using ATS. So your resume should be ATS friendly. Use keywords based on the data, JD, right? Now the second point is very important. You have to work on your communication skills a lot, a lot. See, while in the interview, they will see or evaluate your communication skill also. But because once you are into the company, you need to interact with so many people. You need to interact with client also. You need to interact with, let's say, director or maybe some leadership team also. So it's very important that you are communicating in a clear, concise, and confident manner. Okay, right. So always whenever you are answering any question, follow this one: clear, concise, and show confidence. No, I know these things. It's not like I'm just saying I actually know these things. That should be reflected through your confidence. And next is, before answering any question, take a break, think about it, structure your answers, and then communicate to the interviewer. A lot of time what happens, we kind of so a lot of time what happens, we try to kind of uh, We think like it will not give us a good impression, but trust me, you have to take break, think thoroughly, structure your answer, and then answer any question. That is very important because that is something which they will evaluate in your skills, whether you have a structured approach or not. So that's very important. Again, you have to keep on learning, and you have to do a lot of practice. Especially SQL is very important. Without SQL you cannot land any job, I'm telling you. Without SQL, again, some best practices, let's say always join the interview call before 5 minutes, because if you are joining late it doesn't give a good impression. And then again, if you are not confident about something, if you don't know something, it's okay to say no. Okay, I don't know about this, but again I will read about it, let's say, or I will learn about this. Now, the most crucial part, you have to apply for lots of uh, job application, right? And then you have to see lots of rejection. Trust me, like in every switch I have kind of faced more than 10, I would say 10, 15 rejections. So a lot of time it is very frustrating, very demotivating. But again, you don't have any options. Trust me. And this is not something which is happening to you only. This is happening to everyone whoever is looking for a switch or maybe going for a job. Everyone is facing this. So it's very important that you need to try. You have to keep on trying, try applying different jobs, and keep on giving interview. To never lose hope. Always be confident, be motivated, and always ready to do hard work. Last one bitter truth, or one dark truth I will tell you, and that is, see, what happens, due to the advancement in terms of technology, AI, Chat GPT, right? Chat GPT, there are a lot of things, and because of that, what happens, market has become very tough, and people or company can survive with a less number of resources as well also. That's why you are seeing lots of firing, lots of unemployment cases, and these things is leading to cheap labor. So let's say if you have a position for, let's say, 10 lakh CTC, but you are having, let's say, 10 candidate, 20 candidate with the same skill set, and they're ready to work for, let's say, 8 lakh or let's say 7 lakh CTC. That is why there is a trend called cheap labor. So that's why in recent it is very difficult to land any job, even if you have a right skill set. But again, the budget thing is something which might not work for you. So if you are getting a job, it's kind of, you are very lucky, because you are kind of making a balance between your skill set and your CTC. Yeah, so that's about it. Please comment if you have any question, any queries, and also you can also share your thoughts, if you are getting success, or yeah, and keep like and subscribe my channel. Yeah, thanks.